Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. This is Wolf and Bones' Comic Club.
Ooh.
And I am one of your hosts, Kel McDonald, who makes comics that you can read at kelmcdonald.com.
And I am Bones Leopard, and I make comics that you cannot currently find because my website's down. So
No! No!
I'm planning on fixing it this weekend. It'll
Good.
be bonesleopard.com.
And if you are unfamiliar with the show, basically we're gonna read through classic comics that we feel like we should have read. We are currently reading Berserk. We're on volume 10. Uh, Bones, how did you feel about volume 10 overall before we jump into the panels?
Well, it had been a little bit, so I had actually needed to hop on to volume 9 and be like, okay, wait, where did we leave off? Um,
We left off on
but
titties.
yeah, I will say I feel like this was a very if not the end of the volume was very actiony, but the pacing of this whole volume was there was really never a dull moment. Like every scene kind of led into the next thing,
Yeah,
uh, which I really liked.
good stuff. Um, what'd you think of the cover? I got the cover pulled up. We got Guts and the Skeleton Knight. Nice painting.
Oh wait, let's see. A different. Okay. So I don't have that cover. My cover is just Guts pulling a really long sword.
Oh, maybe I mixed them up. So I'm looking at the big omnibuses from Dark Horse. So they don't have, the individual covers are all in the back. And this is what it says is chapter ten's
Oh,
cover. So
okay. No, that's a cool cover.
yeah, I like the painting. Like, he doesn't bust out painting that often, for his covers.
No, yeah, it's honestly, I'm a little mad at his skills. This is a little save some for the rest of us. Thank you, sir.
All right, we got first note I had is Guts' first time consensually.
Yes. And I did like that they even because they're both victims of sexual violence, like it is something that they talk about,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not something that they just gloss over like, oh, I'm cured now. It's like, no,
Yeah, they're
because
still fucked.
of this. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and then I have them talking about it. Yeah, them being cute. And then of course I busted out the can't show that in a Christian manga thing again. Um, but yeah, so
Needed that a lot for the scene.
um, I also like that she definitely, it seems like she understands him in a way. Um, uh, and like she clues into like that's why you used to hate being touched. Um,
Mhm.
and Guts admitting
Well,
that
I thought,
he was okay with her touching her all this time, but he doesn't look at her when he says that because he's a little embarrassed. Uh,
yeah, and they had already talked about their past with
yeah,
this in the last volume, but it was still like the same scene.
so it's like they talked about it, they screwed, and this is like the morning after.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, okay.
or maybe not the morning after. Maybe it's still evening. I assume from the light shining in that it's the morning. And I do like
Yeah.
this Guts face. I highlighted it.
Guts did have a lot of cute faces. I held back from submitting a lot of them, but I was
Oh,
just like,
I got
yeah,
them
Guts
all. I
is
got them all. Don't worry. I got you.
perfect.
Some good faces in this volume. Um, and then um, Casca being all like, "We'll go back to the way things were," and it's like, "Oh, Casca, no, no,
Yeah.
that's not happening. You can't go back to um the way things are. Uh, can't go back to ye olden times."
Yeah. I did like that it was like Guts went from worshiping Griffith to like at least in her eyes now he's just like Griffith.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Well, no, I feel
I
like
did like
they
that. I
have
was
a
just,
more human connection, and that's why she's torn. So it's like worship of Griffith,
yeah.
but then there's this genuine connection. Um, and then Guts explaining why he can't stay. You highlighted the your sword's broken.
Yeah, I just thought that was so cute. I was like, yes, good, perfect.
The little girl going, "Hey, poke, poke." And then I highlighted this panel, with the blacksmith, where he's
Yes.
like, I kept doing it, and then I was old. And Bones, Bones, is this a metaphor for art?
100% it is. Yes. That whole scene where it's just like, oh, I've just picked this up and I'm just like sitting
And
there and I'm
just,
just like,
I picked
yeah,
this
it
up, and I
is
kept trying
a
to
hundred
improve, and then I
percent.
woke up and I was old. Uh,
Yes.
yep,
It was too real, honestly.
too real. Um, but I like the metaphor with the sparks. Like the sparks is a metaphor for purpose. Um,
Yes.
and then we have Guts thinking about like, are his sparks slash metaphor just fighting? Like, is he Goku?
Yeah, I did
Um,
like even after all this time, he's still trying to figure out exactly where to land and if like landing is even a possibility for him.
yeah. And how, yeah, the sword is his life. Much like blacksmithing is that old man's life.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, it's just really, really nice. Like, it also fits nicely into fires being a dream, and Griffith being a
Oh, yeah.
bonfire, because so sparks help other people's dreams light up. So Guts is like, okay, if the sparks are my purpose, then me just perfecting this thing that I'm good at and dedicating myself to it does help other people start their dreams.
Yeah. No, I totally forgot about the fire thing and like just thinking about it, I'm like, oh damn, that was actually pretty good because yeah, like what starts a fire, you
Yeah.
need a spark
Yeah.
and uh it's like kind of like up to every individual to keep their fire going.
Yeah. So yeah, it's real good, like consistent metaphor going on here. And also I just
Yes.
like them talking naked to each other. Because they're
Yes.
being emotionally vulnerable and emotionally naked with one another while being physically naked.
Honestly, it's very fitting for both of them.
It's a metaphor. Bam, symbolism. Uh, And then I like her laughing at him.
Yeah.
So she laughs at him, and then she calls him Griffith, which is like says he's like Griffith, and that's like a super high compliment for her. But then also is like, and you're both fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And I of course had to bust out the can't show that in a Christian manga again. Um, but I like this is she digs into him, and you like that he copped a feel.
Yes. It's just like that whenever that happened, it was just like I know it says like grab as a sound effect, but in my mind it was honk.
um, but like I like that, so she rails into him, but then he's like, "Come with me," which is something Griffith would never do. So this goes into like worship of Griffith, human connection with Guts, um, and how off guard that sort of takes her. And we finally get some dong. It's
Yeah.
barely there, but and then after that very nice scene, I loved this big ominous like
Yes.
yeah, like cut to some
Oh my
random
gosh.
villagers saw a giant monster in the distance. Um they saw a Godzilla.
Which is like it's great because like we talked about this before with this comic where like I feel like um a lot of people are surprised like surprised by the demons and all that stuff in it where like it started off like starting from a very first chapter there's like demons everywhere,
Yeah, well, so
and then when you
yeah,
told me some people don't start there I was
like
like I don't think I'd be prepared for all the demons showing up if I didn't start there.
yeah, you kind of need the demons at the beginning. But I just love that it's like, since it's random villagers we don't know, and then they're seeing it in the distance, it makes the world feel so much bigger. Um,
Yeah.
and then the Behelit is back.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Can't get rid of it that easy.
And then we have Griffith's dream, which I basically screenshotted the whole section. Um, and I just love this panel of like little Griffith looking up and like the castles in the distance. And so you can
Mm,
sort of imagine that like it was always in the distance in view when he was a kid.
yeah. Yeah, like that was something he always saw.
Um and yeah, just like how young he would have to be to start on his sort of journey. And then how now he's in darkness and the only thing he thinks about is Guts.
Yeah. Very it has like a hyper focus on and I think this just also has to do with the fact that I've been reading like a ton of like romantasy lately
Mm-hmm.
with like a lot of the tropes and stuff, and there's just so much of it that is like, oh my gosh, you're the first woman that ever hit me, like now I'm obsessed with you, or you're the first person to ever tell me no. And like I'll admit throughout this whole scene that's all I could imagine was Griffith being
But
like,
I
you're the
love
first person.
that like he's talking about his feelings are like malice, friendship, jealous. Like he has all the feelings about Guts.
Yes.
Um, and um and my the next panel where he's talking about everyone else that he's met, um I wrote Griffith is just built different. Um
Yeah.
and then like talking about how the dream has always been the goal and what he's been focused on, and guts is guts more important than the dream?
Yeah. And if that's what you've been focusing on your whole life, that like messes with your identity.
Yeah. Good panels here, just this whole sequence.
Yeah.
It's
No,
also
I do feel like
oh
this leveled up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
so you said you feel like it leveled up.
Art, like, just like really. And like sometimes, like I feel like everyone's always improving the more they draw, but like sometimes you can like catch the level change, or at least
um
I feel like I can sometimes,
I
and I do feel like
think
this is here.
I'd have to double check. It might be this dream sequence or it might be a later one that was added later. Like it wasn't in the original
Oh,
magazine, it was added for the print volume. Uh
they just added it for like more content, or
like for I guess making Griffith's point of view clearer. Um
interesting. I mean, that makes sense because I honestly can't imagine that scene without uh the dream. Like I
so
feel
it's
like it was
either
like
this
all of
dream
his thought.
sequence or it might be a dream sequence during the eclipse.
Okay.
So I'd have to look up what got added. But yeah, and then I just love how Spot Black is used here. Um,
Yeah.
and how it's mostly black, so it doesn't give away the later reveal. Um, and I love the creepy little weird guys coming to visit him.
Oh my gosh. There's like, yeah. Which like is that like I mean I know they're probably gonna explain it later, but like my first thought was like, oh, is that the weird like fetus thing? And then I was like, no, there's multiple things. So
Yeah,
is it from like the necklace?
yeah.
Just thought.
They're little guys. And it's
Little
great. Just
guys.
little guys. And great foreshadowing. Because then they go to the MC Escher house.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
which
like I did whenever I set a screen grab of it, I was just like once again, like this is such a like such inspiration for the Demon Slayer
so
like final arc.
yeah, so it's interesting because like I went with MC Escher, the famous Western painter.
Yeah.
And then you're reminded of more modern things that are clearly pulling from Berserk. Um, and then we have them telling Rickard to stay home because he's injured.
Yes. Little Bambi.
Yeah. Um, and Guts being a good like big brother type. So's Judah. Uh,
Yeah. It's like it's one of those things where even like these like small scenes where he's back with these people and it's so obvious that they all care about each other,
yeah,
but like that's just not enough
they're
sometimes.
all doomed. And then I highlighted this panel because this isn't a thing that people usually put into comics. Um, After your
Oh.
first time, especially if you're a lady, those are muscles you've never used before. So she's sore.
She is.
Um, but yeah, I like them riding off. I like the big silhouette of the wall. To again bring shit be ominous. Uh,
Yes.
then I liked this little bit of like, come on, if finding it will be that easy, I'll quit being a mercenary. And I found it. Retirement it is. Good comedic beats.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of nice little humorous
Yeah.
moments in this.
Um and then you have uh
Yeah,
Cos
Casca just like stepping up to him, being like, "Yo."
chest bump.
I was just
But it's they're worried about each other. And then I also like Judah knows what's up. The Judah and Pippin, they know what's up.
they're like, "Oh snap."
Oh, these two, they did it. Yeah, and then laughing.
Yeah.
I love Judah.
He's a great character.
And then I wrote Pip too big. When they're going,
He really did take up that whole like.
yeah, the whole that's good that like he thought about that. Like, yeah, no, this guy too big, too big. Um, gets thinking about his boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I love this shot of the mausoleum. Like,
Yeah.
did his,
Absolutely gorgeous. All the details.
yeah, and the archways and beautiful. Um, and then Princess Charlotte didn't realize Casca was a woman. And
Yeah.
I was like, be nice to Casca. Everyone be nice to Casca. I do like that she punches, she whacks Guts in the face.
Yeah. And he earned it.
Yeah. And then I also wrote down does fucking make you more femme, because Princess Charlotte was like, oh, I didn't think you were a lady now, but now I can tell that you're a lady. So
I actually had the same thought. I was like, wait, because then I also noticed like Princess Charlotte, like the way her eyes are drawn are more like weary and mature than like the doughy eyed she had before.
well, she is a
Uh,
year older, so
yeah,
and also her dad has been creeping on her for a year, so
yeah,
stress will
yeah. That's what I was
age
just
you
like.
up. More beautiful architecture.
Definitely showing off, I feel like.
And then everyone's talking about fucking where Princess Charlotte talking about Griffith being in her chambers.
Yep.
Um
The fact that they like hadn't been told at all like what had happened.
yeah. And then the princess uses bribery and charm to get past the guards. It's like she's good. She got the connections and she got the money.
Yeah, which I did love, like Guts being like, "Whoa, I'm impressed," and then she immediately like loses all the strength in her legs.
Yeah. And then she's all like, Griffith inspired me. Because she still doesn't know what manga she's in.
No.
And then Casca's having a bad time because she's thinking about Griffith fucking the princess.
True. But cute.
Yeah. Yeah, bad time for Casca. And then Judah being I was like, Judah is the second best at everything, and because of that he is the second most ruthless. Because she's like, we should hold the princess hostage. Um and
Uh,
and Casca's like, that is a bad idea, but Princess is like, being hostage is a good idea. I will willingly be hostage. And then Maid Anna, queen of my heart this volume. First, first, beautiful face from her. Um,
so good.
I love Anna. She great.
Very realistic reactions from her, being like, "Wait,
This woman needs a
what?"
raise. And I wrote again, she still doesn't know which manga she's in because she's like, I'll endure being a hostage for Lord Griffith. Um,
Right.
uh, and then Casca is like, well, here's logic and reason. Um, that it is a bad idea to take you hostage. Um,
I did like that they also brought up that like the second you take a woman hostage, like your group gets known for taking women hostage,
yeah.
kind of thing.
And then Princess, again, still doesn't know what manga she's in. Great faces from Griffith and Anna. Uh, like, beautiful. Not Griffith, Guts and Anna. Love this. No, 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 never. To show that Princess Charlotte is still a child, and at the end of the day, she is still a princess and therefore spoiled. Um,
Yep.
and everyone is like, shh. We both
Like, hey,
we
hey,
both
calm
saved this panel, Bones. I want you to know.
down. It's such a good panel.
Yeah. The only one not telling her to shut up is Pippin because his hand would cover her whole face.
Yeah. He's a gentle giant.
Um, and then like this again, the princess is kind of being kind of spoiled. She's like, fine, I'll just convince him if I have to. Like, she still thinks she's gonna get
Yeah.
her way, and doesn't know what manga she's in.
And yeah, because she even says like out like she's thinking she'll convince him if she has to. She's not even
Yeah,
willing to like say it out loud.
yeah,
She knows they'll disagree.
yeah. And then everyone looking back at Casca and Guts because they are not subtle. Um, everyone knows they did it. Um, and then I like Judah being like, "Hey, we're about to do crimes and violence. Turn around." Um,
And this was such a badass moment for him too. It
yeah,
was just like, ooh.
good job, sir.
Uh,
And
he knows what his job is.
then you got the meanwhile, beautiful landscapes. And meanwhile, Everything's gonna be better when Griff is here.
Oh man. Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
It's yeah. Which I couldn't remember. Like I feel like he had done it before, but like the way he like made the water white for these
Yeah.
moments before everything happens, I just thought that was like a really clever choice to be like, oh, like you'd kind of think this is like a new dawn or something, or
Yeah.
like no.
And like just like everyone's so cheerful. Everything will be great when Griffith is back. Poor poor boy. And then you saved this one. I saved the next page. So
Yeah, where it's just like well, it like it's just like so ominous, you know?
well, so
Like
here's the thing. When I first read this, I thought this might have been Puck or coming back.
oh, that would be interesting. Well, like yeah, I didn't think of Puck because like I guess like since like that was the first time they met when we read them.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean
But
Puck's
no,
not
that's
out
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
Uh but yeah, it was so this one I love the splattered white ink on as the moth fairy looking thing flies away. Uh
Yeah. Which that's what like yeah, because at first you're like, oh, it's like an elf or something. And then the second I saw those like noticed the antenna, I was
yeah.
like, oh, that's not a elf.
Yeah, and then we get to oh no, all the fires are out.
Yeah.
Other shoe dropped. Um and I really like the slow reveal of the guy telling him to run, and then you
Yes.
see,
Honestly,
yeah,
I wanted to do oh, it just started lightning out here. Okay, well if I disappear, just assume my power went out.
okay,
But yeah, the slow reveal, like I was like debating like sending just like a shot of like every single panel that I was like, no, because I was also just so sad.
yeah, and it was so it's like because since it has like two mouths, at first you don't know what's going on. Is this thing carrying the guy? Um, and then it's eating him, and you get the bigger reveal of the weird thing.
Which we've seen this before, right?
So this is the thing. I didn't go back and look it up. But I'm pretty sure this is a. If it's not the same design, I think it's a very similar design to the guy that Guts kills at the end of the Black Swordsman.
Okay, that's what yeah, I that's what I was thinking too.
And the snake thing that people see from a distance, is that the snake thing he kills in the first part of the Black Swordsman?
Oh, well now I kind of want to rewind and see.
Hold on. I'll go get my actual physical copy. Just give me a moment. All right, I got my big tomb,
All right.
my big tome of Berserk.
Yeah, let's just let everybody like stare at this monster while we look
Yeah.
this up.
Right, there's... Okay, there's the guy's big snaky head armor. There's him decapitating a horse. They look... So the snake looks very similar.
Okay.
But it's smaller. But that could just be, since it's a demon, it can get bigger and smaller as it pleases.
Yeah. That's true.
Now, big slug guy. Let's see him. Yes, it is the same design. The big slug guy is the same design. So...
Yeah, okay.
So this is the dude that we saw not want to sacrifice his daughter for more power, but he has already killed his wife. I don't think we saw this thing, the big beetle monster.
No, I don't remember that.
And this thing will come back.
Ooh, okay.
And then our favorite guy, Skeleton
Oh my
Knight,
gosh.
pops up.
I was so happy. He like showed up and I was immediately like, and then he adopts him and they go on adventures together and
I was like,
Bambi becomes the new Skull Rider.
Skull Knight to the rescue.
Yes.
But Rick is still having a bad time.
Oh yeah.
I focused on the whole page, and you wanted to zoom in on the darkness.
Yeah, just like, you know, because again, it was just like all those panels, like with all those monsters around, like you can't focus on like like there's like so much, but like now that they're all gone, he is like really alone, surrounded by corpses and fires.
Yep.
It's just like, man.
Bad time for him. Good thing he went to go get water.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you want to talk about Skull Knight riding off?
I just thought this was a very beautiful scene. I was just like, yes, I love this. He's like a ET moment going on.
Also a very different tone.
Yes.
So I like them descending into the tower. I focused in on wonderful maid lady's face. I wrote she doesn't get paid enough. But then we get backstory of the tower. And I liked this like intricate armor. It's like kind of what we've seen already, but then there's a little bit like mishmash or like ornamentation on the armor. So it does look more old-timey.
Yeah, it's like because I thought like it came off very like like almost Mayan-ish.
Like a little bit of Mayan,
like,
a little bit
maybe
of like Greek. Like there's the way this like circular sun is depicted makes me think of Egypt.
Yes. Yeah, and then like the Medusa head on the shield, very,
Yeah.
Greek.
And so he had his tower, and then angels came down, and the tower collapsed. And I like Guts don't read.
Yeah.
He didn't go to no school. He didn't read.
No. But it's also like interesting because I feel like it's like a berserk version of the Tower of Babel
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Just like, oh, interesting.
And I like them teasing her with ghosts. And once again, the maid is making great faces in the background while the princess chokes Guts. I love Judah. But I do like that we get to see the bottom. Um,
Yeah.
and all the heads have that sacrifice mark. So was it for Angel's bones that destroyed this tower?
Oh, absolutely not.
Maybe it was four weird little guys that live in an MC Escher building.
Methinks, yes. Which also just makes it interesting that it's like, hey, like this is where Griffith's been for a year.
Mm-hmm.
The necklace is in the sewer,
Yep.
and this is like also a massive location where all of this stuff happened.
Yeah. And then, like, it kind of implies that this is Skeleton Knight's power source.
I was wondering about that, like if it was his power source or if
Like, he
he
did this
like
big
is like
ritual, and that's why he's a super badass skeleton now. Uh, but slow reveals once again to mirror the slow reveal of the big slug monster. Them slowly going into Griffith's cell.
oh gosh, yeah. And the last thing we had seen was those monsters, so I was
Yeah,
half expecting him not to be in there,
yeah,
like to just already be gone.
and yeah, just the like reveal that he has had like skin peeled off him on a regular basis. Um,
Yeah.
and then I love when Guts picks him up. They did a really good job of showing like a body that has been emancipated and emaciated and starved, and like his legs are so
Yeah.
thin. Um
And like yeah, like drawing like you can see the outline of the bones.
like they
Yeah.
definitely he referenced like the legs of paraplegics that can't stand up, and so they're using those muscles and oof. Oofa doofa.
Yeah. I'll
Um
admit I didn't focus too much on some of the torture panels.
and he has had his tongue cut out. His arm and leg tendons have been severed, so he can't like manipulate or stand up or walk properly. And Casca is just like completely in shock that this is Griffith now.
Yeah.
And then his face is so scarred that only Guts and Judah see it.
Yeah, and like that helmet he's wearing, like that's not his actual helmet. That's like something they modified to like
Yeah,
make fun of him.
yeah.
Okay.
And then Griffith wakes up and sees Guts. And his first instinct is to try and choke Guts.
Yeah.
He like tries to strangle him with his broken
I did
puny arms.
I did like that because I was wondering if like Guts understood or not. But maybe he's just so happy that he's alive
And
that he
then
doesn't
when
care.
Guts holds him, then he puts his hand on Guts' hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, first instinct was to try and murder him. That bodes well.
Oh, yeah.
And then Casca has a panic attack. Bad day for her.
Very bad day for her.
Things can't go
mean,
back to normal. And then like the guy that bragged about torturing Griff, like when I saw
uh,
this panel of you, the one
yeah,
the one who did all this to Griffith, I was like, that man is toast. Like that man,
yeah.
like, and sure enough, Guts goes through the door. Fuck keys. Through the door.
I did like he's so good at that pacing, like that beat right before a ton of action.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
And then he cuts that dude's tongue and he's like, I can't hear you speak clearly. Like this is where the black swordsman comes from.
yeah.
Lucky Daggers in the chat saying Griffith really blaming all his bad decisions on falling in love with Guts. Yep.
It's true.
And yeah, the beautiful brushwork on angry Guts.
Ugh, yeah, that panel. I was just like, so beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um and then the stairs are really narrow and those guys did not stand a chance. Cuz this isn't even like
I was honestly shocked because I was just like, okay, like obviously they did not make like a smart decision, but like the fact that they thought that this would be like a smart military like thing, I'm just like, no.
like they do say that they
Horrible.
did not expect Guts to be with them later. So this
It's
plan
that.
and also this plan might have worked if Guts wasn't there. Um uh but as we know, Guts can just mow dudes down.
That's what he does.
Yeah, he gets like multiple dudes with one strike. And then the guys get so panicked that they start to fall off the stairs, like pushing each other to get away.
Yeah.
And Guts is just plowing through, arms everywhere. But yeah, so yeah, here's the guys being like, well, they wouldn't send their leader, like guy Guts, in there. That would be a dumb decision. Um,
They know.
well, I wrote down like because he says they shouldn't send their leader, and so I was like, so this guy doesn't know that Casca's the leader. Because
Yeah.
Guts makes this same argument that Casca couldn't go because she's the leader. And
That's
then
true.
but then he's also like, also I doubt that he actually killed 100 dudes. And it's like, well, that's your mistake. So he has bad intel. He doesn't realize how dumb Guts and Casca can be. But he also underestimates them. And then you wrote hell of an entrance. When Guts
Yeah,
just
just like they're like waiting there, and it's just like, and
body
let all
parts.
the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah,
I don't know the rest of that song.
I think that's really all you need to know in that song.
And then he just cuts that guy in, and we get to see his brains.
Yeah, brain and eyeball.
Yep. And yeah, and I love this Guts cutting through the guys, because once again it's done well enough that you can follow his path, um and where he's swinging his sword.
Yeah,
And then Griffith is watching.
I do like all of the like panel like close-ups of just like
Griffith's
Griffith
eyeballs.
has seen that Guts is back, and he's like watching him do this stuff that like like this is he lost last time, so this
Yeah.
is also like the guy that beat him coming and saving him.
Yeah. And then the king comes back, and I wrote down the king has not been doing well.
Oh gosh, no. He is like his skin is melting off. He is
As it
basically a
turns
corpse.
out, wanting to fuck your daughter not great for your health.
No.
And then Guts just covered in blood.
Which so I loved
Saved a life,
oh wait,
killed
not that.
100 dudes. Yeah, we saved a guy, and then we just murdered everyone in our path to do it. And then you got tired Guts, Griffith watching.
I really liked that it's just like because like he's like obviously not paying attention. Like he's like killing everybody, but he like wasn't stopping. So I liked that there was this like panel of like, okay, he like has reached
Yeah, he needs to catch
like
his breath.
he's tired.
Only murdering
Yeah.
is a lot of work. Fun Baldur's Gate 3 detail um, is if you play as Dirge, who wants to do all the murders, you can warn your companions that you want to do all the murders. And Lae'zel is like, well, murder's fine, but doing it indiscriminately wastes a lot of energy. So I'm just thinking of Lae'zel being like, this is a waste of energy. You should have been more precise with your murders.
I mean, 100% if she was there, that's what she would
Yep.
say.
And then Casca is like, you gotta clean up, you're scaring the princess.
Which I thought was just funny because like, dude, he just saved your life,
But he
and
is
you're like,
very
he's
scary
scaring
covered
me.
in all that blood, and she thinks she's in a shoujo manga. And then you wrote that Griffith is the type of, I forget exactly what you said in our chat.
Like uh what do I say? The male lead. Yeah, like because again with like the romanticy stuff I've been reading, like it's just he would 100% be the character that the main character like is with at the beginning that treats her terribly, and then whenever she finds happiness somewhere else is like mad about it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I zoomed in on his eyeball.
It's a good eyeball.
And then more Maid lady needs a raise.
She really did.
Great
Got this
faces.
whole thing.
Lady needs a raise. Someone give this woman a vacation and a spa day. So I'm not a fan of Bakira, or however you say this killer group's name. Um, just
Yeah.
didn't think they were very interesting villains. But I did like
Yeah.
that Princess Charlotte jumped in the way of the dart to save Griffith.
Yeah, it's like a gave her like a moment of like, oh look, she did like even though she's done like she technically has done a lot to get them there, like this is just like adding another bonus. She's actually brave in front of Griffith too, or behind him.
I did, while reading this, I was like, is this a similar shot to when Griffith took an arrow for her? It is not. Um, and I was like, that's a slight missed opportunity that they could have done a similar um,
Oh.
shot of him saving her. So yeah.
Yeah. But I did like how like her getting shot led to like, oh, like just like a very momentary, okay, you need to give her to us so we can save her. Like nothing bad's gonna happen to the princess. Uh but like you know that like even though the princess like they give up their hostage because if they don't, she's gonna die.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good way to get her. It's a good way to give her agency. Also gets her out of the team, so she's not dead
Yeah.
weight for the rest. And then she's not there during the eclipse, so she can still pretend she's in a shoujo manga. Um,
I'm so worried about the eclipse.
and we have Griffith does get to witness her. Um, and it's like, hey, Griffith, everyone dies for you.
But it's not enough.
And then it's also all this stuff is going on, and Griffith can only watch. Um,
True.
and as someone with so much agency, like I like her falling and tugging at Griffith. Um, that weak little no. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think Griffith said to her?
You know, that's such a good question. Like, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, did he say like goodbye or
So he doesn't have a tongue, so
uh
whatever he said, she can't understand it. Um, but yeah,
yeah, no idea. Do we ever find out what he said?
not from what I've read.
Okay. Just curious. I'm just
I think based on the mouth shapes, he might be saying together.
oh
And then we get Judah
what
gets to shine again.
as he should. MVP.
Yep. Yeah, I like his using the sparks to light things up. Um, it's clever.
Yeah, like using the sparks, but then also like having to use his reflexes as well because you're gonna need that instant
Mm-hmm.
reaction moment.
Um, but yeah, I sort of skipped over the rest of their fight because it's kind of an eh fight. But also, once again, Maid needs a race. Um, Poor lady getting held at sword point by the king. Um, and then King is gonna send dudes after them, and I was like, that's one hell of an intro. Just this
Yeah,
monster dude
just
fucking
like
some
for
ladies.
yeah. And it seems like there's some history with the Blackhawks and the monster dude.
So here we got the chapters for next volume.
Yes.
What do you think Devil Dogs is going to be?
I'm assuming it's gonna be this like animal like guy that they're gonna be
The dude
fighting.
whose orgy was interrupted.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna get a couple of chapters of his group.
Um, then Roar of the Wild Beast. What do you think that's going to be?
Oh. Well, I mean, would that be a okay, that could go two ways. Either that's like the final act of the beast dude, like after they lose the fight, because I'm hoping they lose, or the roar of the wild beast is leading into uh them showing up to camp and the only person left is Ricky if he's still there. Um but that oh wait, but the next one's Forest of Tragedy. Ooh. Um it's
Yeah.
a tough one.
Forest of Tragedy. I'm peeking. I'm peeking right now to see how right you are. So yeah, so then
Okay.
there's Mortal Kombat.
Which that's like they take they take a break to play Mortal Kombat. So yeah, they're just
So
gonna play
yeah,
some video
so
games for a little
yeah.
bit. Oh man. I don't know. I'd assume it has something to do with like do they sign up to go fight in a coliseum to like make money or because like now that they have Griffith back, which yeah, I don't know, especially because he's in such terrible condition.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Armor to the Heart.
Hmm. I guess maybe that chapter is gonna be like a three-way like Casca dealing with her emotions for like all of them dealing for their emotions for the other one and like like Casca with both the guys with the other guy and Casca.
Mm-hmm. Then there's the Flying One.
Which I would guess is that Moth guy comes back. Oh wait, you did say the Moth guy comes back. Is that the Moth
The
guy
Moth
coming
guy
back?
comes back post Eclipse.
Okay, so flying. Yeah, other than that, like I guess it'd be a new monster.
You know who has wings?
Oh my gosh. Zod?
Yes.
No.
Zod.
Oh.
Zod has wings.
I
Uh,
love Zod.
the immortal once again.
That one maybe is Griffith somehow getting healed. Is it or finding his necklace? Or wait, if it's the immortal and Zod's around, are we gonna get like a Zod versus Skull Rider fight or something like that? That could be interesting. Let them fight like Godzilla.
Um, Good guesses. Good guesses all around.
Yay!
Um, if you want, I can tell you the chapter titles for Volume 12, or do you just want to stop here?
I know Volume 12 is where we'll get to the eclipse.
Yes.
Right?
The Volume 12 chapters are Requiem of Wind, Warriors of Twilight, Back Alley Boy, Eclipse, The Promised Time, Advent, The Inhuman Host, The Castle, Parting, The Feast.
I don't know. I'm so curious on how it's
Volume
going to go because the
12
eclipse
is mostly the eclipse.
Okay.
I believe Back Alley Boy is the dream sequence that I told you was added later.
Okay. No, that makes sense because, yeah, honestly, my first thought was that's probably about Griffith.
Griffith is a little babby. Yeah, so what panel should we use as our YouTube video?
Ooh. Um. What about that? I don't. I was like the zoomed in of like the painterly one of Guts's face before he freaks out could be interesting, but there's also like a lot of really cool panels of like cool architecture, cool backgrounds.
What if we use this one? All the skulls.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
That's good. All right. So you good to go next week?
Yes.
All right. We're back. We're back on the Berserk train. Thanks, folks, for watching. Hope you have
thank you.
a good one. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the Berserk. Bones, I'm glad that we will get to the eclipse before I leave for San Diego, so you can like sit and dwell on it for like an extra week.
Perfect.
But yeah, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next week.